What's up, Top 10 fam? Hope you're having an awesome day. I'm your host Ayman Hasan and welcome back. I've got a special guest with me today. Okay, not that special, you see him every day, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We'll give you that. Okay, we're doing archaeological discoveries. What do we think of that?
Archaeological discoveries, I mean, I got some pretty good ones. I know mine are for sure better than yours.
Okay, thank you. Also, I don't know why we're standing the same. That's very funny.
The standing too. It's Che.
We're ready to face off.
Oh yeah.
Do you guys wanna, should they vote in the comments now?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
It's totally, this is Che versus Ayman for this video. Okay. In the comments, let us know which host do you like better. It's for sure me. I think I'm the better one.
Team Ayman or Team Che? First of all, no, Team Ayman. Come on. Okay, It's like Team Jacob and Edward.
Yeah.
You didn't even know who Edward was.
Oh, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Okay, anyway, make sure to vote below. And these are the top 10 scary archaeological discoveries.
At number 10, we have King Henry IV's head. I want to be such a badass in my life that when I die, people put in such an effort to make sure I stay dead. Either that or they do some sort of Weekend at Bernie situation with strings on me and I'm dancing around. Well, when King Henry IV was assassinated, they cut off his head and buried it in another location. The location was a mystery to everyone until 2010 when it was found in some tax collector's attic. The dude had a 17th century cranium stored up there like old baby pictures. This guy bought it off an elderly couple. The elderly couple snagged the head in an auction in the late 19th century. Okay, I want to add to what I want to live like. I want to be such an awesome person in my life that people are selling my body parts off at an auction. It'll be like, next up, we got Che Dorena's prize scrotum. It said that if you pull off one of the hairs, any wish will come true.
Coming in at number 9 is the tiny alien, and yes, I found this one after pulling one of those scrotum hairs and wishing on it. Honestly, I don't even know with this one, so back in 2003 in the Atacama Desert of Chile, archaeologists found a 6-inch tall mummified skeleton with a pointed head. And if you see the picture of this thing, it's actually tiny, like it's the size of my foot more or less, and now I can't tell if I've exposed that my feet are big or that this thing was tiny. My feet are normal sized, I swear. Either way, after close examination, researchers found the skeleton to have the bone density of a 6-year-old kid despite its miniature size. Even scientists were like, could this be our first ever alien specimen? Sadly not. After more and more thorough investigation, they found out the skeleton was in fact human after all, probably related to the indigenous Chileans. There were 7 different mutations in her growth genes, which most likely explains her overall smallness, but it is a sight to see. Honestly, I've never seen a skull shaped like that, and I'm not throwing shade at all. It's interesting.
Alright, your favorite host is back, or back with number 8, head on a stick. Way back in the day when we were still swinging around clubs and we didn't really know what to do with dead bodies. Cremating someone and then throwing their ashes over the parking lot at Cheesecake Factory by their request is a very new thing. Well, these Stone Age dudes thought taking heads and mounting them on sticks was the best course of action. An archaeological dig in Sweden found a bunch of heads mounted on sticks that dated back way before the Greeks were laying around with rock hard abs. It's unknown why these cavemen decided to shish kebab these skulls. They might have been enemies, and mounting the heads to sticks could have been a warning to other people not to come around or you're gonna end up like this head on a stick. Or it could have been a nice thing. Maybe when your buddy dies, you put his head on a stick so you can bring him around and give him little forehead kisses forever. It did seem like some sort of ritual, because where they found the mounted heads, there were loads of animal bones scattered everywhere.
Filling our number 7 slot is the Apple Store, and no, I'm not about to mention the 13th century Apple Store that archaeologists randomly found, and with it the iPhone -10C or X or whatever you want to call it. So basically, back in 2013 the company was breaking ground in Madrid in order to build another Apple Store because clearly they thought they didn't have enough. While construction crew were excavating the area, they found the remnants of a 15th century hospital just casually. The hospital was in use way back in the 1400s and treated victims of the plague. It was demolished in 1854 and sealed below the street until the Apple Store came along. When asked about the situation, Apple said they want to incorporate the ruins of the hospital into the glass box store design, so you know, if you walk into the Madrid store you'll find the iPhones on your left, earpods on your right, and the hospital ruins and corpses way at the back. Do ask for assistance from an employee if need be. And I am your favorite host.
Back again, guys, with number 6, smallpox scabs. You go to the library and you try to make your brain smarter, and then the only thing that happens is you come in contact with an ancient disease. You pause your Netflix and pick up books only to get punished for it. This is like when there was E. coli in the romaine lettuce. Well, in 2003, Suzanne Caro went to check out some books at the Santa Fe College Library. She picked out some old Civil War books because she's a fun time, and in the book there was an envelope. Because she's a curious little devil, she decided to open them up and found a bunch of scabs. Scabs in an envelope? Must be my birthday. She found out by reading this old-timey book that the scabs were taking off patients with smallpox during the Civil War. So she kept them, then dipped them in chocolate and served them to her friends at a dinner party. I'm just kidding, guys. She called the Center for Disease Control because she's not as imaginative as I am.
Coming in at number 5 is the letter. During the demolition of a fireplace in a house located in Caversham, builder Lewis Shaw found a letter. The letter was written sometime in the 40s by a little boy called David. I know you were hoping it was like some sort of murder confession letter or a steamy cheating confession, but alas, it was just a letter to Santa Claus. In it, he wrote, "Dear Father Christmas," that was quite formal. Anyway, "Dear Father Christmas, please can you send me a Rupert annual and a drum box of chalks, soldiers and Indians, slippers and any little toys you have to spare. Love, David." Well, any little toys you have to spare, how cute is that? Like, mate, he has a factory run by elves. He has more than a little to spare. Lewis really wanted to track David down to give him the letter, so he actually made a hashtag Find David media campaign and actually managed to find him alive and well. The internet. There you go. You'd assume David would have been like, bro, I wrote this 60 years ago, you think I care now? But he was actually quite surprised and found it quite cute considering his kids now either asking for a motorbike or a bunch of Barbies. Chalk and slippers just won't cut it in this day and age, David. Get with it.
At number 4 on the list, we have the ESSEX sarcophagus. As Stephen Drake was checking out an old home in the middle of being touched up, while walking through he came to a big gap in the wall. He decided to peek through. Now if this was a horror movie, this would be the point where something jumps into his eye and sucks out his brain. But instead of having his brain sucked out, he found a 3,000-year-old sarcophagus that was left there by the previous owner. The guy who used to own the home was now dead, so Stephen took the sarcophagus to get carbon dated, and it turns out the thing was legit. I hope Stephen got a fat payday for that. Some weird stuff about this is no one knows where the dead owner got this thing from, and there also was no body inside the sarcophagus, so no one knows where the mummy body went.
Filling our number 3 slot is the baby. I can't even wrap my head around why someone would even do this or how they would do it, but here we go. Back in 1850, a Parisian couple were getting some work done on their home. Workers came in and started digging up the floor and walls, and a mummified baby just fell out of the wall. Legit, they were probably like, is this yours? Obviously the couple was suspected of killing the baby right away, but they were quickly exonerated. The doctor used changes in corpses and flies to determine they didn't do it. First off, how on earth do you put a baby dead or alive in a wall? Forget dead, how do you have the heart to put a live baby in a wall and board it back up? Secondly, how are flies good murder conviction evidence? Like, am I the only one that thinks this is sus? This is sus, guys. And sadly enough, cases of mummified babies are so common even now. I mean, 2 were found in 2007, and those are just the 2 that I know of. I'm sure if I researched it more, I'd find a bunch. This just hurts my heart, I'm sorry. Che's here for comic relief and I'm here for the morbid stories.
Hey guys, I'm back to bring a smile to your face after Ayman bummed you out. On number 2 we have the mass grave of TUAM, County Galway. Okay, maybe I'm gonna bum you out too. In an archaeological dig, I bet you want to find like dinosaur bones or old weaponry, maybe even some fossilized dinosaur poop. That's a real thing, you should look it up. Underneath the former home for single mothers in TUAM, County Ireland was the remains of 796 babies. What the hell? It was a super baby grave. This is like something that came out of a Rob Zombie movie. Like, it's literally almost House of a Thousand Corpses. Between the years of 1925 and 1961, the home was run by the Bon Secours nuns, and it was a place where single mothers could go to get support. However, the nuns would often neglect the children which they were left to take care of. This would lead to them dying, and then they would wrap them in a sheet and dump their bodies in a septic tank. When the discovery was made, a home was built over top of the burial site to pay homage to the infants. That was so chilling, I never want to think about it again. Now we gotta go back to Ayman. Oof.
Hi guys, I'm back. Hopefully you don't find me as dull as Che thinks you do. And finally at number 1 is post-death PARTUM. So yeah, you probably do find me as dull as Jay thinks you do. Once upon a time, 1,300 years ago, in a small Italian town of Imola, a woman died. And that's the end of number 1. No, I'm kidding, I'm kidding. Archaeologists found said woman in 2010 and the skeletal remains seemed odd. Her skeleton was fine, but archaeologists found a strange cluster of tiny bones in between her legs, which obviously turned out to be the remains of her fetus that she somehow gave birth to after her death. If we investigate this further CSI style, she was buried face up, so that implied she was purposely buried. She was in her late 20s, early 30s, and her baby was only 2 weeks away from being full term. The baby's legs were still inside the mum, but their head and upper body was born after she died, and that's referred to as a coffin birth. Did you guys know that was a thing? Because I certainly did not know that was a thing. What happens is that gas builds up inside the dead woman, which pushes the fetus out of the birth canal, something that has rarely ever been seen in archaeological history. And that's not even the end of it. They also found a hole drilled into the woman's skull, which was common back then to relieve things like head injuries, headaches, or to get rid of evil spirits. If any of you need that treatment after listening to Che, hit me up. And that's all for today's video, guys. What did you guys think?
Let us know in the comments below what you thought of the video and also which host you like more.
I know we have a lot of beef and saltiness, but we actually are good friends.
Oh, we're pals.
We're pals.
Yeah.
Low-key hate. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. But do you guys think we should do more collabs? I feel like collabs are very fun for the host to do, and hopefully they're fun for you guys to watch.
All right. Well, guys, I don't know. What else should we tell them?
That's it, really.
Yeah.
I'm your host, Ayman Hasan.
I'm your host, Jay Dorena.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye.